Hey guys, what's going on? It's Shane here. Today I have for you the Airsoft 102, and that's Buckings, barrels, and hop-ups. It's going to be really basic today. What happened is I had a guy on Facebook. He actually had this exact replica. He was asking about putting a new motor in it, and I was like, well, what are your goals for, this replica? Like, dude was like, man, I'm brand new. I don't know anything. So you can kind of see where he was starting from the beginning. So I told him, I was like, hey, I actually have that exact gun. I'll make a little video for you. Here we are. So this is Airsoft 102, Buckings, barrels, and hop-ups. This particular one, they have two body pins generally. The back body pin doesn't really do anything, so we're not going to mess with that. The front body pin, however, has a Phillips head screw in it, and you're going to unscrew that. I recommend getting a set of punches. It makes it so much easier when you start taking gearboxes out and having to punch things. So you put your punch in there. This one's really loose, so you can just go like that, and then take that pin right out. It already started sliding forward. So you just slide it forward all the way, and it's disassembled. So your hop-up is going to be right here, and you're going to take it and just slide it right out, and the hop-up will come out with the inner barrel assembly. Here's your barrel. It's brass. Brass barrels are very cheap barrels. It's a very malleable metal, so you can bend it really easy, nick it really easy. Step up from this would be aluminum. Problem with aluminum is that the same thing. It's generally when they make it out of aluminum, it's very thin, it's light. When the BB rattles, it causes a lot of vibration. Well, a standard barrel technically is 6.05. So you have your 6mm BB, so you have 0.05 clearance on it. Nowadays, more of a standard barrel is 6.03. That's considered a tight bore. You can go all the way down to like 6.01. There's even 6mm barrels. This little C-clip, you can see, it comes right off. You can do it with your hands. C-clip right there. It fits on these little spaces on the side of the barrel. Little cutouts, and this little piece right here, you can see it coming up when I wind it. When the gears move, that piece right there is actually what pushes your hop-up nub down to give it the hop. So if you don't know, so whenever the BB gets loaded into this, there's a little rubber mound that sits inside of the bucking. Right there, that little mound on the bottom. So the BB actually hits that, causes friction, and it puts a backspin on it. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this out. So here's your barrel. As you can see, that's the cutout window. That's where the nub actually pushes down to the bucking, gives it the backspin. This is your little collet here. So you put the barrel in, and this goes, and it sits between the barrel and here, keeping it a lot more stable. This is a Modify hop-up bucking soft type. This is actually a flat hop. It comes with a flat hop, flat nub. So the different types of hop-ups. So normally you're gonna have like a mound. That's just the basic hop-up. This one actually came with a 2 points of contact hop-up mound there. So like when it gets pushed down, it goes out, and the BB kind of sits in the middle, and it makes 2 points of contact. This one doesn't have a mound at all. There's no mound at all. But the reason we want that is because this nub, so normally, and this nub is hollow. It's got a hole in it, it's spongy, it's not very hard, right? Because it has to push the mound. This pushes the entire bucking down, and it gives a longer, more even surface area for the BB to hit, and it'll help your accuracy and get better hop dramatically. I love flat hops. Okay, so this bucking was actually as long as a normal bucking, and I just took an X-Acto knife and just cut it down because I'll show you why in a second. We're going to take this flat hop bucking, this little groove right there, and then there's a little line right there. You line them up, and bam, it'll sit right on there at the end. The Teflon tape here, so there's two different ways to do this. Well, there's probably more than that, but you have your Teflon tape, which I like, and then you have the dental floss method. So what you do basically is you wrap it and you tie it. What it does is it completely seals, because right now if you push your nozzle in there, some air is going to get out of that side there. It might be insignificant, but it's going to be a loss of FPS. It's not going to be consistent. So I just use the Teflon tape method. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get tons of crap about this because people love the dental floss method. I've done both of them, and I have not seen a difference. Just saying. Okay, so we're going to pull off a very small piece. Alright. Going to get halfway on. We're going to do 2 turns. 1 and 2. I'm going to rip off the excess. Okay, so make sure that's still on there. We're going to mash it down. We're going to give it a good twist, a good pinch. Pinch twist it, the whole shebang. Take a drop of silicone, just a drop. There you go. So we're going to take this thing apart. So here you have a Phillips head screw. I'm going to pop this piece off. Pressure little washer things, I don't know what they're called. Alright, so now can take that gear off there. And then this guy right here is actually held on by one on the other side. And you take that off, and then you can just press that pin right out. So when you press this out, your pop-up's going to hop up. And then that is actually what presses the hop-up part down. Now I'm going to super glue this nub in because I hate dealing with nubs more than like anything. They're so annoying to try to get in. So I'm just going to put a little dabble of super glue in there. We're just going to put that little nub right in there. Make sure it's lined up perfectly. Don't super glue your fingers to it. Alright, after that's dry, press this spring in just a little bit. Press that down, and you can see it moves. Make sure you don't glue it together, obviously. So what you're going to do, you're going to put this piece back in. You got to hold it down a little bit, and there we go. Okay, so this thing moves. This is the mechanism that actually causes that to go down and up, as you can see. So you want to start about right there. So we're going to go ahead and put this. We're going to put that piece back on. Push it down. You're going to put your second wheel on. So push that little collar back on. Your main gear back on. And so now, as you can see, it goes up and it goes down. Good. I always test it to make sure it works. But you see once we go to put this in. Okay, so same thing. We're going to twist it very gently, until we get it in. Alright, so we're going to push it all the way in. There we go. Alright, so you're going to line that little groove right there on the bottom up with this mold mark. Make sure it's seated, and then you're going to take your little collar and mess up. Okay, so push it down. Alright, and there you go. It's reinstalled. So now you check your hop up, make sure it works. You want to see your little nub come down? Perfect. It comes down just as I want it to. So what I like to do is take a little piece of this tape here, not too much, just a little. This around here should go about twice maybe. So there's once. Just take your X-Acto knife. And I'm going to cut it long ways, that way it'll just come off a lot easier. Okay. You're going to take a collar and you're going to slide it all the way down. And then I'm going to slide that Teflon tape with it. There we go. Right into the hop-up bucking. That'll give it a little extra shock absorption there, right? We got to start thinking about putting our barrel back into our top piece. We're going to do one wrap, and then we're going to do what's called a barber pole. Alright, so we're just going to go around it like an old school barber pole. Try to keep it as straight as you can. And then once we get to the end, we're going to do a full wrap. We're going to come back down the opposite way. And what this does is it gives some shock absorption, vibration absorption, and it makes sure that barrel is nice and tight inside of that thing, right? I want that barrel as tight as possible. So come over, wrap this above the one that you wrapped the first time, because you don't want it too thick or it won't go in at all. And then break it off. Okay, now you're going to go through, smooth it out, smooth it all out, so it's all pretty. I forgot to point out, you do want to clean your barrel the first time you take it out. You just take the unjamming rod, put a little piece of paper towel in there, a little alcohol on it, and then push it through. Don't pull it back out. You never pull something dirty out of something clean, so you're just going to push it through, put a new piece on it, push it through until it's perfectly clean. I forgot to mention that part. So that's how she looks. So now we're going to take a little bit of silicone. You can use oil or you can use the grease. It's kind of up to you. This is some thick oil that I have. This stuff is like nasty thick. This is 100,000 weight shock oil for RC cars. This stuff is kind of nasty, to be honest. It's like really nasty thick. Okay, so now put it back in our replica. Be very careful when you push this in, because you don't want to mess up the shock dampening that we have. So you twist it and very slowly push it in. Keep twisting, very slowly push it in. A little on the inside, that's fine. Alright, so as you can see, we got it all the way in there. So now when we push it in, it doesn't even spring back out. So what we're going to do is you don't want to push it all the way in, so you want just a little bit of room out there. So that way when you put the gun back together, it makes full contact with it and it sits exactly on the top of that nozzle. So there's no room for the spring to even spring, which is good because when that spring springs and the nozzle hits it, it causes vibration. Alright, so you want it stuck in there. Now we're going to put it back together, so you just slide it down and make sure the back is seated. And then you're going to take your, you can feel the hop up means right there, it ain't moving at all, which is good. So press in and then push your pin right back in. Grab your screw and screw it back on. Grab a battery. You always want to test everything after you shoot it. So anytime you do any barrel or bucking work, first thing I like to do personally is I like to give it a couple dry fires. And that way, when you do that, it kind of clears out, kind of sets everything, makes sure everything where it needs to. So this is supposed to chrono between 350 to 370. That's what it said on the box. I'm pretty sure I chronoed this thing when I first opened it up and it was shooting like 360, I want to say, and the FPS variance wasn't very good. It was shooting like 6 up or 6 down. It wasn't great, right? Because you wanted as close to the same FPS every single time. Now we're not going to get anything too drastic because I didn't do any work to the piston and everything too. So let's see what we got. I'll just call it out. 371.7, 371.4, 371, 371.7, 371.7, 370.4, 370.4. Alright, so as you can see, this thing's shooting within almost an FPS just by putting a flat hop bucking in there, which the bucking isn't going to make that much of a difference, but just doing some of the mods that I did, it's shooting within, I think within 2 FPS. That's pretty darn good. I'm actually really satisfied with that. Totally cool. That went really well. I figured it would probably have 3 to 4, maybe like half of what it did have. I mean, if it's shooting 370, 371, that means the air seal is nearly perfect in this thing. I'm really wondering what would happen if I took apart and did all the stuff I do to the piston and the piston ring and everything. I wonder if it would actually shoot better. I don't know if it could. That's pretty good numbers right there. So that's a basic thing you can do to any replica that you get to get better performance. You can look up the dental floss method if you want to online, that's fine. But there's been a lot of studies that show that really like a 400 millimeter barrel is as long as you really need to go unless you're doing like a dedicated super high FPS DMR build. And even then, if you do everything perfectly, you can get some crazy gun builds out of really cheap stuff. It's all about the little things, getting all the little things perfect, and it makes the replica fire perfect. So I used a lot of different tools here today. I'll go through the video, see what I used, and then I'll post links to it in Amazon. I get all my basic stuff from Amazon. It's just easy, right? You're going to have to spend a little bit of money if you want to get stainless steel, but it's absolutely worth it. Highly recommend. Anybody who's even new to teching should be able to take care of most of that. The only thing I want to leave you with is that teching is the most nerve-wracking, annoying, hateful thing you'll ever do, simply because as I was making this video, I had to redo things multiple times to get it to seat just perfectly. So be prepared. You're not just going to go in there and do it once and it's perfect. That's very rare. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed my video. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, share, all that good stuff. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody. I really appreciate it. I even met one of my followers. Really cool dude. We've been texting back and forth on Facebook Messenger, so you can look me up, Michael Shane Grove. I show up. It looks just like me, and if you want to shoot me a message and ask me a question, then definitely do it. Leave me some comments though, guys. Like if you have questions about what I did or you think something I did is dumb, hey, leave a comment, man. I'll explain why I did it, or I'll be like, hey, that's right. You should probably do it like this, and I'll be like, oh wow, that was a great idea. I should have thought of that. Because like I said, I'm not a professional airsoft tech. I am just a tinkerer. I'm a tinkerer of all things. I like to tinker. So if I can find a better way to do something, I will absolutely take that better way. The best is only the best until someone invents something new, right? Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.